right, so let's kickstart our event with an executive panel hosted by our Thai Trade Commissioner and Consul Executive Director, Mrs. Chanunpat. So I would like Mrs. Chanunpat to kickstart the executive panel, please.
Yes, right? I have to say, it is my great pleasure to welcome all of you today, this afternoon, to the wellness of the Hub of Wellness and Retirement Home in Thailand. And today with my honorary guest, Mr. Bernard Chan, that he is always like help and support the DITP, Department of International Trade Promotion in Hong Kong. Thank you so much, Ka. And Kun Willy Lin, Ka, the Honorary Trade Advisor to the Ministry of Commerce of Thailand, and Kun Johnny Chan today as an investor that he will talk about. So three of them today, like Kun Bernard, will give an conversation and give you some opinion about his impression and opportunity on healthcare service in Thailand. And Kun Willy Lins, he can give you an idea about the retirement in Thailand as a second home, because he has second home in Thailand, but not second wife. Just only the second. Okay. Yeah. Just second home.
Okay,
okay.
There's something I didn't know. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And the third one, Kun Johnny Chan, that he may have the second home yeah. in Thailand. Yes. Yeah. As an investor, his eyes are like to invest in Thailand for the wellness and retirement period in Thailand. Okay. So please allow me to give you some brief idea about Thailand. The Thailand strategy plans, we have like 10-year strategy plans since 2017 until 2026. Yes, of course, it's before the pandemic happened. Actually, we have Thailand has high potential in 5 categories of the wellness services. One is the spa industry. Second is the beauty industry. The third one is wellness center. The fourth one is medical service, and the fifth is health and wellness. So let me get back for the first one. The first one is the spa industry. We have like Thai massage. Yes, all of you, I'm sure that you already tried massage. If not, we have Tan here today, and we also have Tan in Hong Kong. So like, and she will talk about Tan and the Thai massage, Thai spa in the next panel discussion. And you also, in your gift bag, also have the special thing from Tan, so you can try, okay? And we also have the Diwana spa, the spa from Thailand. They have some products that you can try. It's outdoor, so please feel free to go there. Second one, for the beauty industry, for Thailand, you all may know that we have like very good of plastic surgery. I even want to try one or so. Okay, when I get a bit older. And for the anti-aging, we are always very good. We have one that will be from Thailand. It's called the Precise Solution. This one is very interesting because the person who runs the Precise Solution in Thailand is Hong Kongese. He's from Hong Kong, and now he's done this clinic in Thailand. So you can just listen to him. The third one is center. Of course, we have the wellness resort, the Amanpuri. Okay, she's here today. And the medical service. Everyone visit Thailand for this one, for the medical checkup, for the healthcare. Today, we have Bamrungrad Hospital, very well known. And also another one is Thonburi Hospital, that you can listen from them from Thailand. And the last one is the health and fitness, just as Raksa. So all of these 5 categories, you can catch up very soon. Let me tell you a bit for the why wellness services and tourism, healthcare is very important for Thailand. Before the pandemic, the medical tourism each year, people around 3.6 million people visit to Thailand, and we have like 10,000 million Hong Kong dollar for the income into Thailand. And for the wellness tourism, we have around 12.5 million people with the value around 100,000 million Hong Kong dollar. That's what we have. So this is a very important one for Thailand. That's why I still have to keep you thinking of Thailand no matter the pandemic is happening, okay? So I know that you guys miss Thailand, including me. So since the pandemic happened, Hong Kong and Thailand face the same problem because we all rely on the tourism business, especially the medical tourism also happened. However, for Thailand, if you heard about the case, you may think that it's high. But it's, when compared with the population, today's case is around 20,000. But Thai population is around 70 million people. So it's a number that we try to solve, and I think Thailand can do it very well if we're going to have enough vaccine very soon. Okay. Most of the case today is in the central part of Thailand, especially Bangkok, that you know. But some provinces, such as Chiang Mai, that you've been to, like Chiang Mai can be the place of the retirement home that's very good and good weather. And Phuket, we already have the Phuket sandbox that started yesterday, the Cathay Pacific flight that fly direct from Hong Kong to Phuket. Yesterday with the 134 passengers from Hong Kong to Phuket. So it's a good start. That's why we have it today. So I'm sure that some of you also interested to fly into Phuket. We have flights, Cathay Pacific have flights once a week from now on. So this is overall for me. And next, may I start with Kun Bernard Chan to talk about the medical service and your impression about it with Thailand.
Ladies and gentlemen, is my mic on? Anyone can hear me from here? I can. You can.
I can hear you. But
Can
I
you-
don't hear the mic.
Call,
Is the mic on or not on? Because I don't see
the mic on? Or,
yeah.
or maybe this one?
It's on. Oh,
Yeah, okay.
it's on. No, it's okay. Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me here to share my thoughts on Thailand, wellness, and anti-aging. But the point is, actually, you don't need me to tell you because I think Thailand is so known for those services, you know, like those medical-related services. I think with the track record Thailand has, I think people in Hong Kong are so receptive to it. It's just that because of the, as you put it, just because of the pandemic, the traffic between Thailand and Hong Kong. Since while we're on this subject, I thought it's important that we have this first flight out from Hong Kong to Phuket yesterday. Many actually have been thinking whether this actually can still go ahead. But so I'm glad it went ahead because I think it's quite clear now that the virus is going to be around, right, one way or the other. So the question is, how are we going to sort of live with this virus? You know, what else more can we do to try to control the spread of the virus while we try to somewhat return to normality? So I think the sandbox with Phuket is a very good first start to see how that works, both from the Thai end as well as from the Hong Kong end. So I assumed, I actually have a friend who booked the flight, but I told her to, in fact, it's my fault. I told her to not to be on the first flight because first flight, you can imagine things can go wrong. So those 100 and some passengers, very brave. They must be so desperate to go to Bangkok, to Phuket. Because, you know, it's going to be try and error to figure out how best to do it. One of the things that I told my friend, see, booking a flight to Phuket today, not easy. There's only one flight. And they keep changing. You know, so even if you book the flight doesn't mean it's guaranteed to fly off. right? So booking a flight is the issue. But I told my friend there's another consideration, which I hope each of you needs to remember, because that's a trick. It's not about booking the flight, because you know right now, we just started, this new arrangement just started last week. Before last week, it's only returnees from countries from the risk category A, B, I think it's A and B only, that require a COVID test prior to boarding the plane to return to Hong Kong. But starting from last week, now every returnees from whether category high, medium risk will require to get a COVID test done prior from you boarding the flight back to Hong Kong. So the questions, I mean, the concern I have for my friend, I said, listen, so going to Phuket is no problem. You know, you're going to stay in a beautiful resort, great fun. But upon your return, well, a couple of things first it's going to happen. First, you need to get your COVID test in Phuket prior to board your plane, right? So do you know where where you get this test? Because only a certain type of lab can be approved. If you don't get your test done in the right lab and those documents not being recognized, Cathay will not even let you board the plane. So the important thing is, if you are on that flight, and I think Cathay is also, because obviously they are the clients. So Cathay now, I believe that they must have, I don't know about Phuket, I know for other destinations, they are trying to work with a local lab. So you must make sure that you are in contact with Cathay for your return flight, making sure that the lab, whatever you're going to get your test, is acceptable. Because if it's not acceptable, you won't get on that flight. And you won't get on that flight, you're going to stay another week, enjoy Phuket. Because only once a week, which is not bad. Maybe you stay another week in Phuket, right? So, but anyway, those are the things that you need to prepare for. This is the new norm now. It's going to stay like that for a while, by the way. So that's your COVID test. You must have that. And if you got vaccination in Hong Kong, you should definitely get an antibody test done in Hong Kong, because that will cut your quarantine time to 7 days. Because currently Thailand is under medium risk category. That's 14 days. So let me take it back. If you're not vaccinated, leaving Hong Kong, going to Phuket, have a great time in Bangkok, well, you come back, you have to do 21 days quarantine in Hong Kong. Not good. It will spoil all your fun in Phuket. So if you're not vaccinated, returning, that's 21 days. If you're vaccinated, coming back with the proper record, that's 14 days. But if you got your antibody test done prior from leaving Hong Kong, that's 7 days. So those must be done prior before you leave. So again, then when you are returning to Hong Kong, you need to show to Cathay all those documents prior to boarding the planes. So anyway, I just thought, reminding everyone, it's not that easy anymore flying. You have to get all these done, and you need to get your quarantine hotel. And that actually turns out to be the most challenging one. Getting on the flight is not the challenging one. Getting the medical report and everything, it's not that difficult if you pay attention to it. You follow these instructions. The most difficult part is getting a room booked for your quarantine. I just came back from the US, and I know how difficult it is. If you can't get a room, you can't get on the flight also. And that's the typical, because there are right now 10,000 rooms under the quarantine category. So we have enough rooms in Hong Kong, 10,000. But it might not have the type of room you want, or type of level of rooms you want. It's not many. I mean, well, depends on your choices and how much you can afford. But it's not even how much you can afford, because it's just availability issue. So all these things are looked into consideration. But I said all this not to discourage you not from going. I just want to make sure that you are prepared to do all that. And I think people in Hong Kong are really burning out after a year and a half. So people are all excited and looking forward to spending some quality, relaxing time. So I think, to your point, Queen Anne, I think Phuket Sandbox is very attractive. So I hope after the first group, maybe you should tell everyone how that first group happened, because I think it's going to be try and error, how to improve the whole thing, right? But it's going to be the new norm. So we don't think that we're going to be locked in Hong Kong forever, you know? But while we're having these challenges, I'm very excited to understand that now we have all these different products. Thai products are also now made available in Hong Kong. Thai products. The hotel I stay in Bangkok use your products, so I know your products. And so I'm glad to hear that some of these Thai products are now also made available in Hong Kong, and that's good. But of course, you know, it would be nice that we can all returning back to Bangkok. I think Hong Kong people are excited of going back to Bangkok because of all those different types of services that you mentioned are widely being recognized and very receptive to people in Hong Kong. I think the key message is quality assurance. You know, oftentimes people question that, oh, these are third world country, Thailand, third world country, you know, especially in terms of healthcare, you know, are the standards equivalent to world standard? Well, I tell you, those people are ignorant. They haven't tried it. They haven't been there. But once they try it and try these products in Thailand and services, then they realize that actually those services provided in Thailand are not third world. They are probably even better than first world, better than Hong Kong, better than Western world. You know, the type of details of services provided by the Thai are impeccable. So I think that is the one assurance I can give you all, that Thailand will continue to be probably by far the best choice among the ASEAN, you know, for Hong Kong people to go. And it's not just Hong Kong people. You know, the type of, I think the number you just mentioned, the travelers going to Bangkok, you know, I think a huge number of that is actually now coming from China. You know, Chinese people also see that. You know, so a lot of Chinese people are going to Thailand for all types of services, anti-aging, IVF, you name it, everything that. Because I now think with a rising middle class in this whole region, with a spending power, people willing to spend, right? And they're willing to pay for quality services. So I think this is also in an area where I think why Thailand really comes out very nicely. Of course, until the pandemic, right? But once the pandemic is over, it will be over. The question is how much longer, right? But as soon the pandemic is under control, the virus is going to be around, but at least if everyone's fully vaccinated and it's under control, I think, you know, the traffic, everything will return. And I'm sure many of the providers, you know, service providers in Bangkok, we're going to even improve their offerings, right, to attract people like us to come back. I think the last time I've been to Amampuri must be almost like 20 years ago. So now I have to, I'm sure it has changed. So I look forward to the sandbox, and maybe I can go back and try. Well, the one thing I have to complain about Amampuri, but that was 20 years ago. I don't know whether it's still happening. You have no TV in the room. Yeah, because the whole idea, but I went there, that time was actually for business. So I went on my own. It was pretty lonely in the room. There was nothing happening, right? There's no TV, but the thing is they got a point. The whole idea is not to be distracted by TV. You should be enjoying the scenery, well, so I guess that hasn't changed yet. It's still no TV. So I better bring someone with me. But don't worry, I don't have a second home, unlike Willy and Johnny. Thank you. So I hope you can all have a good taste of what Thailand offers to Hong Kong and to China.
Yes.
So I look forward to that we can re-engage back with, you know, the Thai culture.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you ค่ะ ขอบคุณค่ะ Yes. As Kun Bernard already talked about like the rank of actually Thailand, we are in the rank of the worldwide rank for the wellness and healthcare from the world. Before the pandemic, I think now we are like number 13. Yes, and for Asia, we number 4 after China, Japan, and India. So it means that we are the leader of, yes, and also, as that Kun Bernard also mentioned about the product, of the wellness products that also the spa product that came into Hong Kong. Today we also have like Tan that you also can try. And the number of the spa products and the cosmetic from Thailand to Hong Kong this year from January until now is increasing 50%. So it means that you guys all speak Thailand, that I'm sure. Yes. And thank you. And the next one will be Kun Willy Len, where the second home is in Thailand. And he also can give you an idea about the retirement home. I'm thinking of the retirement home because of,
Why here?
I think, people, no, I mean, because of, I think people with the age like me, after 45 until 50 should think of it, not like people like 70, because it is the place that Thailand can, we have like a lot of like beautiful scenery, like we have beautiful scenery and a big space for you to like enjoy as when you like feel like retirement. So I think Kun Willy can talk about this one and give you an idea.
Really, I don't think you are in the position, but I can clarify for you. Is your second home, but same family?
Yes, definitely so. Vice versa. So yeah, I mean, my family is half Thai, so my wife is actually still in Bangkok. So we are looking forward that she can come back from the 1.5 years. Anyway, of course, I think the word wellness, everybody can really look from the very real spa, massage, to retirement or even semi-retirement. I think in Thailand, which offer a very wide scope for health and soul and cleansing. This is also well, before the epidemic, when we know a lot of people go to Thailand to spend 1 week or 2 weeks just to cleanse their soul, for relaxing. But at the same time, I think it's a good opportunity for people to really think of, how can Hong Kong people or a lot of Chinese people, they actually look at Thailand as a second home for relaxation. Yes, definitely. I mean, Hong Kong people like to own place everywhere. There's a lot of competition in ASEAN. But I think what the Thai government actually did before was actually enable a much longer term visa, enabled Hong Kong people to actually work there, live there, and the family there to go to education and so forth. So I think this is actually a whole package of wellness, health, retirement, or actually even live there. So Hong Kong and Thai, like Bernard and me, our families have long relationship with Thailand. Our grandfather always worked together in Bangkok. So there's a lot of cultural similarities. I mean, particularly Teochew, majorities are actually second generations, third generations Chinese. So actually, there's a lot of cross-culture mixing in which everybody enjoy. I think this is quite unique. We don't have to say much about how good Thailand is. I think everybody here knows Thailand. We have all the rice friends here. We ate Thai rice since we're young, so our body somehow mixed with the Thai rice already. So all these family relationship, business relationship, partnerships are there. Of course, frankly speaking, I told Kun many times is one of the biggest difficulties maybe is the language. A lot of, especially a bit elder generation, they might not be able to speak Thai. So this is always one concern. You want to build a village in Thailand for Hong Kong people to retire or as a semi-retirement home or second home or third home. We have to resolve the language, sometimes the language culture barrier. For eating is no problem, but the language, or if they want to if they got sick, how could Hong Kong medical facilities record be able to forward there? I mean, even for Hong Kong consumption is such complicated issues already. So I think that is also an issue that we eventually, despite we have very great hospital facilities in Thailand, people want to say, they're so used to speaking Cantonese. So how can they go to medical facilities in the place that can enable them to speak Cantonese so that they will be able to take care of them? So I think this is one of the important is when we have the total package, the soul, the health, the retirement or semi-retirement, we have to enable this whole package that when people with 60s and older, like me, they feel easy that, oh, I can travel easily. And of course, Thailand, we also say, look, Thailand is in the middle part of ASEAN country. Able to travel around ASEANs is actually quite very easy. So that is, we don't expect to lock them down up in Chiang Mai or lock them and don't come out with it. And it's actually the area enable them to really utilize Bangkok as a hub spot for them to go around ASEANs. So I think that is also a very important aspect of freedom, visa availability to get a long-term visa, 5 years, and so. So this is also part of the package, I think, that we'll look at all around Thailand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. And for the retirement home or in Thailand, we also have many places in Bangkok, of course, and in the north of Thailand, like Chiang Mai and Chiang Mai. You know, in November 2019, okay, before the pandemic started, I took some of my friends from the Right Association to visit Chiang Mai. They all love it, I'm sure. And they thought that because the Chiang Mai is not just only the place that like you can just live there with the hill, good sceneries, nice weather, and they also the international hospital is already there. And it's also connect with Laos and Myanmar. It can be like, you can just happily live there. And it's just only before the pandemic, it's also the flight direct from Chiang Mai to Hong Kong. So I hope that the pandemic will go very soon so we can just start to look at it. But this is just like some information that I just want you just to thinking of it. So the next one will be for the eye of the investor. What do you think of Thailand if you want to like invest for the wellness and retirement home? Yes.
Well, first of all, Sawadee krap.
Sawadee krap.
ขอบคุณครับคุณอัน for invitations to speak after these two distinguished gentlemen. They basically cover everything now. But I would like to mention a few things. First of all, my experience in Thailand was quite a long time ago. Actually, I was in Thailand almost 15 years ago. That was through my family. We were visiting and looking at opportunities. However, you know, I want to be fond with the country. And especially a decade ago, I met with Bernard, and ever since, I have been visiting Thailand every year for my annual body check at the Bumrungrad Hospital. It was still, to me, is one of the most excellent service and also price competitive. I mean, that is the two major reasons I'm starting to look more further in the opportunity in Thailand. Well, I think we have covered a lot of second home or even healthcare in that sense, and a lot of experts behind me we're going to talk about that. So my focus actually is more on the wellness side. When we talk about wellness, we think of spa, we think of massages, sometimes maybe medical, or even yoga. But for me, when I travel to Thailand, there's two factors that when I think of the word wellness in Thailand, not only the physical side. Well, that's another seminar. We can talk about the food, we can talk about the other things. But when I think of wellness in Thailand, it's about the mental side of wellness and the spiritual side of wellness. A lot of people have not covered that. Perhaps we talk about wellness in terms of the mental side. You go on to yoga, you can go on your meditations, but it's much more than that. In Thailand, among ASEANs, that many Buddhism's country, but Thailand by far have the most strong relationship in terms of the services and infrastructure in that sense. So if once travel to Thailand, you will meet a lot of Thai people. In general, you will find them very calm. You will find them very respectful. I think that is the sense of communicating with them. And just now, Willy have talked about the language barrier. Indeed, it is not as easy. However, the friendliness, you know, when you meet with a Thai, is completely different. They are very warm, welcoming, and when you're in touch with them, connected with them, basically you become a very good friend with them. You feel comfortable together with a Thai group of people, even though you don't understand what they're saying, but you can be sure, they come in peace.
You just keep smiling.
Exactly. The land of smile, I think, you cover what I was going to say. It's a land of smile. So that is something that a lot of people enjoy going to Thailand. That's one of the very crucial reasons. When we look for investment opportunity, I think that is a place you can be much more at ease, at least in that sense of comfort, being in this environment. We talk about a lot of, especially nowadays with the pandemic, I think we are well covered. But I want to talk about a bit more the aging population in Hong Kong as well. Many of the senior members, they are entering their retirement period. They are thinking of going somewhere, with the saving that they have, maybe there's lifestyle changes. Many of them had looked for the GBA. They're going for the Greater Bay Area experience because of the costs and also with the geographic location, etc. And I do see the opportunity. While China is famous for their infrastructure, and Thailand is famous for their services, I think both, if we can collaborate, we'll have it's going to be a perfect match, because it's compensate each other in that sense of operating, and people can have both experience. Not only the infrastructure, you will have the services. So I always encourage, including myself, look into this kind of collaborations. As in Hong Kong investor, this is definitely is the best location to do so. So therefore, I believe in the future we do have a lot of area that we can cover in that sense, particularly when people travel to Thailand. If they choose to reside in Thailand, and have mentioned there's many places that we can explore. Not only the hustle and bustle of Bangkok, that's to the northern side, Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, and down under the south you have Phuket, and also to Hua Hin. All these places you have diversity as well, particularly in the north, the central, the nature, the fresh air up in the north. Under the south, along the beach coast and along the sea coast, you have different type of lifestyle. For a retirement, anyone want to retire, I think Thailand is definitely a place to be. So in conclusion, I encourage many people, to explore Thailand, not only just Bangkok. It's a big country still. We can have many places that we can do, and also at the end, to collaborate, in terms of business. Thank you. Thank you.
Can I just add another point? I'm not sure this is actually a good or bad point, but it's an important point. Is the fact is, after the pandemic, well, I should say after, we're still in the middle of the pandemic, but clearly it has a devastating financial impact to many Thai companies, especially, as Kunan put earlier, as tourism is a main integral part of Thai economy. So for shutting the doors for over a year, you can imagine the financial devastation is huge for Thai companies. But I think, Johnny, to your point, I think it's when all things settle, I think this will be a fantastic opportunity for investors, because I'm pretty sure there are a lot of good bargains to buy. I believe that there are hotels for sale. If many hotels are for sale, many things are for sale, especially in the tourism related. So I think it's a fantastic opportunity for investors. You're probably never going to get a chance like that to come in. Now, of course, you still need to work with the Thai people, because who are the ones delivering services, right? The local, the Thai, and so on. But as an investor, I think this is a moment that you're not going to see it happen too often. So when things all open up, I think maybe Johnny, you can arrange a bargain hunting trip to look for these types of opportunities to make available.
Definitely. Yeah, and please, sorry.
Association.
Yes. Thank you. You have anything to add?
No, I think I totally agree with what Bernard and Johnny has said. Opportunities will arise post-epidemic. I think we all have to start researching. I mean, this morning, actually, during a seminar in HKPC, a lot of industrialists are actually looking at post-epidemic. They start preparing now to look at. And then I can actually help to tell you that the government actually have a lot of money to help you to start looking at investing into Thailand, 6 million Hong Kong dollar. So even if you want to set up a study whether this is really a market for you, whether it is a good opportunity, come to HKPC. We will our staff who can help you to get you money for the first 3 months. The government is generous enough even to enable you to hire consultancy, being fully paid by the government. So being and within ASEAN and ASEAN countries, investing in Asia is also one part of the Hong Kong government strategy. So I think that was a really good time to start looking at post. We're still in. Some countries are still in a very deep problem, but preparing yourself is never too late. And when the opportunity arises, when the epidemic actually slowly go over, everybody will start running very fast. I think now is a good time to get yourself ready and look at it and start preparing. And I think that is a good time to think about that.
I really have to thank you for the Hong Kong government and all the Hong Kong company and Hong Kong people that you have very close collaboration with Thailand, and I'm sure that you love Thailand, and even you also try to help Thailand at this moment. I really thank you from my heart. Yes, and I hope that this pandemic will pass us very soon, and I will. At this moment, I welcome all of you back to Thailand if you want to fly to Phuket. So if any problem occur, you can just inform or let me know. You can just contact me at any time. Okay?
We now need to get a visa, right? From your office, right?
Yes.
You can't just book a flight. You have to go to your office.
That's why you can just
We'll call you, right? So please call her.
Yes. Please be my guest because you are the exclusive guest.
TDC here also can help you, and also we have the ETO office actually in Bangkok. So with the government and the trade officer all ready to help Hong Kong investors, Hong Kong companies there.
Yes.
And Hong Kong people there.
Yeah, and for the business people, we also have Hong Kong Thailand Business Council that we have a very close collaboration together, or Kun Bernard also can help us. Yes. So thank you for today, Ka. And I hope that everyone got a very clear view of the opportunity of wellness in Thailand. And for the Q&A session will be later on. Thank you so much, Kun Bernard.
Thank you so much. Please give a big hand. Yeah.
The Q&A is a massage, right? The Q&A is a actual massage, right?